Recently, I came across an article titled, Freshman Rep Ilhan Omar Draws Ire for, quote-unquote, accurately describing how the Israel lobby works. Now, according to the author of this piece, Ilhan Omar was accused of anti-Semitism after tweeting out, "It's all about the Benjamins, baby," in response to a tweet from journalist Glenn Greenwald of The Intercept, in which Glenn tweeted out, GOP leader Kevin McCarthy threatens punishment for Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib over their criticisms of Israel. It's stunning how much time U.S. political leaders spend defending a foreign nation, even if it means attacking free speech rights of Americans. Specifically, the author of this piece explained that Omar was accused of anti-Semitism after tweeting, "It's all about the Benjamins," in response to a news story about House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy threatening quote-unquote action against herself and Rep. Rashida Tlaib, who has also been outspoken in her pro-Palestine stance and has been accused of anti-Semitism as a result. McCarthy also said that Omar and Tlaib's pro-Palestine comments have been quote-unquote more reprehensible than Rep. Steve King's history of open white supremacy. Now, the story does not end here, because Ilhan also drew heavy criticism for tweeting out AIPAC in response to someone tweeting out, "Would love to know who Ilhan Omar thinks is paying Americans to be pro-Israel." And according to the author of the aforementioned Common Dreams piece, the remark was quickly denounced as anti-Semitic by the American Jewish Committee, which demanded an apology, and other influential pro-Israel political figures, including Chelsea Clinton. Now, Chelsea Clinton made her remarks and denouncement in response to a writer at the Forward tweeting out to Ilhan, "Please learn how to talk about Jews in a non-anti-Semitic way. Sincerely, American Jews." To which Chelsea replied, co-signed as an American, "We should expect all elected officials, regardless of party, and all public figures to not traffic in anti-Semitism." As for the American Jewish Committee's condemnation of Ilhan, the American Jewish Committee tweeted out, "Suggesting that a Jewish organization is buying off American politicians is both demonstrably false and stunningly anti-Semitic. American politicians are pro-Israel because Americans are. Apologize." Now, I just want to take a moment to point out that this notion that pointing out that a Jewish organization is buying off American politicians is somehow anti-Semitic is not accurate. And it is not accurate in the least. Pointing out that a Jewish organization is buying off American politicians is not anti-Semitic. Rather, it's just pointing out that an organization is buying off politicians just in the same way as when people point out when Wall Street, the NRA, or the fossil fuel industry buy off politicians. And according to the author of the Common Dreams piece, AIPAC has been utilizing its money to influence politics. As the author of the Common Dreams piece explained, far from demonstrably false, many pointed out, the fact that AIPAC and other pro-Israel groups financially support lawmakers and pro-Israel legislation is easily accessible information. The Center for Responsive Politics shows that AIPAC spent more than $3.5 million in 2018 on pro-Israel measures that lawmakers voted on, including funding for Israel and the bipartisan Senate bill to ban boycotts of Israeli goods and services, which passed last week. 18 senators and 13 members of the House also received more than $100,000 each from pro-Israel groups. Now, when I first heard about this story, my initial reaction was, how in the world is what Ilhan said anti-Semitic? All she did was call out the influence of money in politics, specifically AIPAC in this case. But still, she was calling out the influence of money in politics. So how could that be construed as being anti-Semitic? And to be honest, I still don't understand how Ilhan's comments could be construed as such. And apparently I'm not alone in this regard. As the author of the Common Dreams piece explained, a progressive Jewish group was among the many who defended Rep. Ilhan Omar late Sunday after conservatives and centrist Democrats attacked her for simply acknowledging that the American Israel Public Affairs Committee, the powerful pro-Israel lobbying group, gives millions of dollars to pro-Israel causes each year. As one reporter noted on Twitter, accurately describing how the Israel lobby works is not anti-Semitism. Moreover, the executive director of Jewish Voice for Peace asked, would talking about the role of the NRA on gun control laws attract this kind of attention? Lobbies influence politics. I don't think that's controversial to say. Nevertheless, Ilhan has apologized for her remarks. Ilhan tweeted out, listening and learning, but standing strong, while also stating that anti-Semitism is real, and I am grateful for Jewish allies and colleagues who are educating me on the painful history of anti-Semitic tropes. My intention is never to offend my constituents or Jewish Americans as a whole. We have to always be willing to step back and think through criticism, just as I expect people to hear me when others attack me for my identity. This is why I unequivocally apologize. At the same time, I reaffirm the problematic role of lobbyists in our politics, whether it be AIPAC, the NRA, or the fossil fuel industry. It's gone on too long and we must be willing to address it. Now look, again, I really don't understand what was anti-Semitic about what Ilhan said. She was, in my opinion, pretty obviously just calling out the role of money in politics. That's not anti-Semitic. But at the same time, maybe there is something that I am missing here. Perhaps there is some history here in regards to Jews and the term Benjamins that I am not aware of. Maybe I too need to be educated on the painful history of anti-Semitic tropes. I tried researching the matter myself, but I really couldn't find anything. With that being said, since Ilhan felt the need to apologize, as far as apologies go, I think that Ilhan's apology was great. She apologized for any offense that she may have made to the Jewish community, while also at the same time remained unapologetic in her criticism of money in politics, specifically lobbyists in our country, and more specifically AIPAC, which she unapologetically called out by name again, along with the NRA and the fossil fuel industry, which I think was very astute of her, to relate AIPAC to the NRA and the fossil fuel industry, that is, because money from the NRA, the fossil fuel industry, and AIPAC all affect politics in the same way. And money does affect politics. In fact, it has completely corrupted our political system, whether we are talking about money from Wall Street, the military-industrial complex, the fossil fuel industry, the NRA, or yes, even AIPAC. And there is nothing wrong with Ilhan or any politician pointing this out, despite the backlash Ilhan has been and is still receiving for doing so. In fact, I wish we had more politicians in office that actually would call these things out, because money in politics is one of, if not the biggest issue we are faced with in America today. Money should not affect politics. People should. We've got to get money out of politics, and we've got to get money out of politics now. Ilhan is right. This has gone on for far too long, and we must be willing to address it.